Hey everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you all so much for stopping by and chatting with me about my stitching and other crafty things that I've been up to. I have some new subscribers, which is really exciting, so thank you for joining me on this adventure. And for the folks who keep coming back for more, I appreciate you. And I appreciate your support. And you know, the stitching community is just so amazing, and I am so glad to have found you. It has really enriched my life tremendously. And I want to give a little shout out in particular to two channels that I found this week, or I guess they found me, I suppose. But the first one is Angie, the Doc Stitcher, Doxes and Dachshunds, and Nick, whose channel is Louisa Heaton. I'll link to both of them below, but they both do cross stitch and freehand embroidery. And I'm so excited to have found them because there really aren't that many of us who do freehand embroidery and have a Flosstube. There are like lots of tutorials on YouTube about freehand embroidery, but no one just talking about their stitches, which kind of blows my mind. But as the Field of Dreams taught us, if you build it, they will come. And if you don't know what the Field of Dreams is, it is a movie starring Kevin Costner where he hears voices that tell him to build a baseball diamond in his cornfield. And so he does, and ghost baseball players come and play ghost baseball games. And it sounds really weird when you actually summarize the plot of the Field of Dreams. So anyway, hello ladies. It has been so nice to chat with you this week. And I hope that I can't wait to like get to know you more and talk more about our stitching. And it's just very exciting for me. So that's that. So if you're watching and are interested in embroidery or baking or history or silly craft experiments, and apparently if you're interested in cultural references that are about 30 years out of date, this is the channel for you. So please subscribe. I'd love to have you as part of my community and join me on my hobby adventure. I had a really good stitching week this past week. My work has slowed down with the completion of these two big projects that I had like a week and a half ago, and I'm not behind in my grading, which is unheard of in my world. Basically, I'm a history professor at a university, and each summer I spend weeks like prepping for my fall semester classes, thinking, yeah, I'm gonna like get ahead and I'm not gonna be behind and I'm not gonna be panicking all semester. But it never works because, you know, I say yes to everything. I like doing committees. I like helping students. I like giving talks. I like going to conferences. And that just takes up so much time. And with COVID, all that stuff has been canceled. And so I actually like have time to do the stuff that I actually get paid for. Although I do get paid for the other stuff. I mean, technically it's part of my job. But it's just been really nice to not be behind, that it actually find this summer work that I don't actually get paid for actually worked. So that's really awesome. But I do almost feel guilty for not being overwhelmed because it's just something I have never experienced in my life, in my professional career. It's a very weird moment for me, I have to say. Anyway, what this all means is that I actually had time to craft this week, which is has been amazing. So I have a couple of finishes. I have a new starts. I have whips. I have some experiments that I want to share with you. I have a haul. I have plans. So that's like the general schedule for today's chat. So let's start with finishes. I have two finishes this week. One embroidery and one needle felting. I know I've been talking about this for a while, but I finally sat down last Saturday and did my needle felting. And I finished my mountain sunset. Look at that! It doesn't quite look like the original here. I'll show you the box. So this is the picture on the box, and this is mine. And, you know, they're not exactly the same, but they're pretty good. And I decided to put mine in a frame as opposed to a hoop. I kind of want to save that hoop for something else. It's a nice hoop. So anyway, my mountain sunset. And this is a needle felting kit that I got from thewoolery.com. And it is a felted sky painting with wool. So here, I'll put up the box again so you can see it. So felted sky painting with wool needle felting. And I have another one from this company that I want to start eventually. And then I have a third one that is from a different company. And then it's more like it's not really like painting necessarily. It's more sort of just 2D needle felting. And the cool thing is that it actually came with extra wool. In fact, my wool's back here in my little tin. So it came with, it had more wool roving and felting than I needed, and so I can play around with this too in my landscapes and stuff. But anyway, it was an incredibly fun and satisfying craft, and I highly recommend it. It's definitely something I think I'm going to start working into my embroidery pieces, and I'm really, really excited about this. Last week, I mentioned that 4 of my embroidery pieces are going to be on display at our university galleries at the end of the month. So I'll take pictures of that. But one of the other artists whose work will be on display does needle felting and I've seen some of her stuff at the local, like the downtown gallery, and I think it's sort of like hyper realistic animal portraits. So I'll take some pictures of those when I go to see that in a couple weeks and post them as well. So anyway, I'm really excited about this new craft, and I think that I can pretty easily incorporate it into my current embroidery crafting. I've seen other people do it and it looks amazing, and I kind of want to do that kind of multimedia, multi-textual kind of a thing. That's what I really want to do. My other finish for the week is also one of my starts, and it is my penguin and fish Batty Bat embroidery of the month. Isn't he adorable? I did him on black. This is just like the cheap cotton poly blend fabric that they sell at Michael's. I decided that I wanted him on black. I thought the colors would really pop on black, and I was right. They are so cute. So this is the embroidery of the month for September, and they're still available. I'll put a link down below to both of these projects, actually, for the Woolery Mountain Sunset and also for the Batty Bat. But this was really, really fun and really cute as well, and that made me really happy. It was a quick stitch up. It was great. You know, in general, I like to embroider my own designs, but I have to say that sometimes it's just really nice to get a nice pattern and just follow the directions, and that is just so relaxing. So these were really fun to do and were a really nice part of my crafting this week. And I thought I would share some of my previous finishes that I have done in the past year and a half or so, and in connection with the Batty Bat and sort of that theme, I thought I would show you some of my previous animal embroideries. And I have medieval animal embroideries that are from like medieval bestiary, and I also have like more modern folky animals, and so I think I'm gonna go with the modern ones this time, and I'll show you the medieval ones another time. I don't think I have any of these in my possession anymore. I might have one of them, but I'll post pictures right here when I talk about them so you can see what I'm doing. And the first one is a koi in a pond with some lily pads, and it's I really, really love this piece. I especially love my decisions with the scales. I think it's a blanket stitch, and I am just so happy with how this turned out. I don't normally reproduce my pieces, and not because I'm not willing to reproduce my pieces, just because there's like so much to stitch in the world that I just want to stitch it all. And reproducing something is like redoing a piece is not something I've just had the time to do. But this one, I think I kind of want to redo this one, maybe with a slightly different colorway. You know, it's a year on now. I did this about a year ago, and so I'm more skilled at stitching, you know, and so it would turn out differently. So I think that at some point I might redo this piece. I really love this piece. This guy here is my alpaca, and this was so many French knots. It was really hard to pull the needle through those French knots at the end, but I love him, and I love the blanket on top of him and the little tassels. This was back when I was first learning how to do all these different specialty stitches, and so I was like trying out stitches and trying to incorporate some interesting stitches in each of my pieces. And for this one, it's the tassels are like a turkey stitch. So this is like the kind of thing that I really enjoy doing, is experimenting with things. And I kind of want to get back to that when I have more time. Our semester was shortened because of COVID, and so I have a very long winter break when I normally wouldn't. And I think, you know, crafting is definitely one of those things that I'm planning on doing a lot of in that time. Here I have a little autumnal fox, and he has kind of a fluffy chest and a wonky eye, but you know, I love him anyway. I was thinking I should have done his tail fluffy instead of his chest because they have like fluffy tails. But anyway, so he's kind of all autumnal, and I enjoy him as well. And then the final one I did is an animal, but not really an animal. Is a longhorn, and it's the logo for the University of Texas Longhorns, and he was done as a gift. So a woman commissioned him as a gift for her sister, who is a Texas Longhorns fan, American college football. She said I could do whatever I wanted, so I basically made him a patchwork sampler, and I used, I think, 16 different stitches to make him. And he was really difficult to do because I did him on a canvas, but it was like a pre-primered canvas, like stretched canvas, and that was so hard to stitch through. So I'm really happy with him, but I don't know that I would stitch through a canvas like that anymore. But I have a plan, and this is one of my experiments that I'm going to show you in a second. Those are my 4 non-medieval animals, and I'll show you my medieval animals some other time when I'm sort of feeling more medievally about things. I also have insects and arachnids, so I think that'll be like in a Halloween view, right? Sometime in October, I'll show you all those guys. Okay, so now on to whips. I have a few whips. I have my Herald that I am like constantly working on, and he's covered in thread. Let me move that thread. So here's my Herald, and his shield's almost completely done. His legs are done. So he's getting there. I might be able to finish him this week, and that would be great because then I can send him out to my friend. So that's my Herald from the Bayou Tapestry, my King Herald, and I'll post a link to, I think it's my 2nd or 3rd Flosstube right here, where I talk about him and the Bayou Tapestry. And the Bayou Tapestry is a medieval tapestry that is held in France, and it was done in the 11th century to commemorate the Battle of Hastings and William the Conqueror and stuff like that. So anyway, I'll post that link here and you can check that out if you're interested in more about the Bayou Tapestry. And I'll probably talk more about the Bayou Tapestry at other times, but not today, I think. I'm also have been working on my Penguin and Fish Embroidery of the Month for August, which is a silk shaded You Are Sweet with a peach and a strawberry. I'm just taking my time with this. This is really just a fun thing, just to practice silk shading, which I haven't done a lot of in my life, but I think it's going really well and I really like how it's turning out. So that's my 2nd whip. And my 3rd whip is that I'm working on a logo for my channel. And what I want to do, and I mentioned this last week, is I'm going to finish this up and then put text Christy's Corner, take some really nice pictures of it, and edit them up, and then have a new thumbnail and a new profile picture with this, and maybe a new intro. I don't know. Just to, jazz things up a bit. So that's my logo, my Christy's Corner logo. And those are my whips, actually. Can't get it back in the bag. I have some other things that are not finished, but I haven't worked on them at all, so I'm not going to show you them. You've seen them all before. I think next is my haul, and I didn't actually have a very big haul, and then I went to Michael's yesterday, and so my haul grew. So first of all, I got a little haul from Fat Quarter Shop. I got my NPI black silk, which I'm using for my logo. So I got that, and I just put it on a spool. I keep the inner tubes from my dog's poop bag rolls, and they come in real handy when I'm trying to spool up some thread. So hot tip there. This is a dream to work with. It's so nice. I got some Arfil. This is like a gray. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can. But they have, whenever they have their Arfil on 6 cotton floss on their like flash sale, I try to pick it up if I'm buying, especially if I'm buying other things. I don't get it just on its own, but I do pick it up if I'm getting other things and it happens to be there, because it's like 50% off. I haven't used it yet. I hope I like it. I got the Gentle Art Mulberry. Let me block my face and maybe it'll focus. Yeah. So this is for my Herald, and it's basically a burgundy to rust variegated, and it's just perfect for Herald's armor. And so I got 2 skeins of this. And then I also got 2 skeins of Weeks Dye Works Onyx for my Danse Macabre. So I want to start working on this coming week as well. I wanted to try new needles. So I got the Bowen needles and I got some John James needles in size 7. It's either, these are crewel / embroidery needles in size 7. So far I'm really liking them, and I'm really liking the size. I had a lot of embroidery needles in a size 5, but they felt really big to me. Because I only use 1 or 2 strands of floss. Sometimes I use 3 strands of floss. They were just too big, but the 7 seems to be pretty perfect. So far, really happy, which is good because I have a lot of them because I bought 2 packs. And I think that's all from the Fat Quarter Shop. It was a very small order from the Fat Quarter Shop. I did get my Color and Cotton Floss of the Month Club that my mom got me for Christmas. And so I got Caribbean. Isn't that beautiful? It's showing up more blue to you guys. It's a little bit greener tealy than it looks on here. I have Lilac, which is essentially lilac. And then Celery, which is a really interesting, like the lightest green. There we go. You can kind of see it. That is a really interesting color. So I don't know how I'm going to use this, but I'm very interested in this color. So that's my Color and Cotton Floss of the Month. And then I also got some Dyeing for Cross Stitch cotton re-dyes. And these I kind of love. This is the Ice Dyed from August, but I don't know what the color name is. But it has purples and browns and grays and like yellows. It's really interesting. This is a very interesting color. Then we have a Darkest Purple, I think this is called, and it is. It's just a really, really beautiful dark purple. An Emerald, I think this is called. It's coming bluer again on the screen, but it's definitely like emerald. And then finally, this one is more like a very, very dark maroon, and it's coming up pretty true on the screen. So those are my flosses from Dyeing to Cross Stitch. And that was my entire haul. And then I went to Michael's. And I went to Michael's just for one thing, thinking I would just stop by. And if you're not in the US, Michael's is a craft store that has a clearance section. And I thought, oh, I'll check out the clearance section and see what they have. Well, I kind of hit the jackpot in the clearance section. So first of all, I got a Dimensions 3D needle felting fox kit for $4. So that's really exciting. I'm excited about that. Definitely going to play with that at some point. They also had needle felting needles. Sorry about the glare. Needle felting needles for $1.50, for $2.50, for 6 needle felting needles. So I'm pretty excited about that because I'm sure I'm going to break a needle at some point. And then they had a little Dimensions cross stitch kit that I thought I would put in a bag for a niece gift at some point. And I thought that would be really fun for the nieces. Maybe in a year or 2. But they have like a gift box where I just like put things in the box that I want to gift them. I have, and I got a bunch of beads, but I won't worry about that, showing you those. But I also have a grocery store haul, which I wasn't expecting. But I found these pencil cases for 60 cents. And they're great for tiny little they're like tiny little project bags. So if I have a 3-inch hoop project, these would be perfect. Especially like at Christmas, I make ornaments, like 3-inch hoop ornaments at Christmas, or brooches or something like that. These would be absolutely perfect. So I got 4 of them. And I think that is my haul. Yeah, so I guess it's not nearly as huge. I did buy a lot of beads and stones and stuff. But I guess it's not, you know, outrageous. Okay, experiments. There are 2 experiments that I want to show you. And the first one had been hanging behind me for a while, and that was my magnolia leaf experiment. So as you can see right here, I have a little magnolia leaf that I stitched on, and I was trying to figure out ways that I could preserve them so they're not as brittle. And so I have 3 different ways. So this one here, I put a little bit of wax, like butcher block wax on it, and it became this kind of mottled green color. Isn't that interesting? And it's a little bit more flexible. Sorry about the noise, but it's a little bit more flexible than without. So that is one way, and it's interesting. It does have a, you know, an oily film on it. I also used a varnish, and this one turned almost immediately this sort of gorgeous dark brown, and it's coming up lighter on the screen, but it's a really dark brown, and it's very pliable. And I haven't stitched on it yet, but this is promising. I really like this effect. I really like this effect. And then of course I had my control, which had no anything on it. It was just cleaned. I had another control, but it was from a different tree, and it turned out very different. So I think I'm really, if I start embroidering a large scale on magnolia leaves, I think I'm going to varnish them first, and that will make them easier to stitch on. So that's my first experiment. And if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about stitching on leaves, I think I talked about that in my first Flosstube, so I'll post a link to that here. Basically, I had this idea I wanted to stitch on magnolia leaves. I live in the southern US, and there are lots of magnolias around, and their leaves are huge and thick. And other people, I've seen some amazing artists who stitch on magnolia leaves, and they are phenomenal. Again, the winter. I'm going to have no time to prep my classes this winter because I'm going to be stitching on all the things. Okay, so leaves. The second experiment that I have, and that I am still working on, is I want to start stitching using stretch frames. And I was looking at frames on Amazon, and they're really expensive. So what I ended up doing was just buying some canvases at Michael's and taking the canvas off. And I have a perfectly good frame. So I'm going to use this week for one of my planned starts, which will be either Hildegard of Bingen's Cosmic Egg or the map from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit. I'm not sure which one of them I want to do yet. So I will figure that out this weekend, get that stitched up. I mean, get that, not stitched up, get that sketched up, and see if I can like staple it to this frame and see if that works. The other thing I want to use these for is I want to try and make paper at some point, and I thought that these would be a good start to make paper. But anyway, that's not for right now though. And I guess that kind of leads me seamlessly into plans. So I definitely want to work on Harold and maybe finish Harold, and work on my logo and maybe finish my logo, at least finish the glasses in my logo. I do have to pick like a font that I like, because I honestly don't love the font that I've been using in my like videos, but I want to be consistent, and so I've been using them. But once I get that all taken care of, I'm going to kind of change it all up and see where it ends up, and you know, just experiment and have fun with it. So that's that. I also found a daily stitching challenge on Instagram, and it's by Adam Pritchett Needlework, and I'll put his Instagram page here, and I'll also post a picture of the prompt, and each day you do a different like Halloween spooky prompt, and it's hashtag Stitchtober 2020. So I want to really work on that and kind of think about ideas and sketch things up, and brainstorm that challenge, because I think that would be really fun to do. And essentially I kind of want to make like a grid and just do little tiny pieces in each one and just see what I come up with. I think that I don't know, it'll be nice little quick finishes every day, and it will be a way to, I don't know, just an interesting thing for me to do during October. So that's what I want to do. And like I just said, I also want to sketch up and maybe start either the Hobbit map or Hildegard of Bingen's Cosmic Egg, and get that kitted up and stretched, and kind of ready to get started. I find that if things are sketched out and have the flosses already chosen, I'm much more likely to just start doing them, and so that'll be good. Oh, I want to work on my Dance Macabre since I got the threads for that. Lots of things, basically. I want to do lots of things this week, but if it's like last week, I'll have time, and it makes me happy. Like, this stuff makes me happy doing stitching like this. It's just really, really nice. And then I think tomorrow I'm going to make some more masks for myself. I only have 3 masks, and so I need more masks. So I'm going to do that since I bought that fabric last week for the lining. So yeah, I think that's my plans. I'm not going to embroider those masks. I think I'm just going to use fun fabric and just quick make them. I think that's the plan. So I think that's it for my plans for the week, and I think that's plenty. I have to be honest with you. Hopefully my week is as like calm and I'm on top of things with my work as much as I was this past week, and so I have lots of time for stitching because it really brings me joy and makes me happy, and that's important, I think, in times like this. So that's it for my plans. On Tuesday I'll be posting a video about how I finish my hoops in hoops without glue. So if you're interested in learning how I finish my hoops, keep an eye out for that. But I think that's it for today. So thank you all so much for joining me. If you want to keep up with me and my artistic and craftastic journey, please subscribe. I'd love to be a part of your community and have you join my community. And if you're working on projects, I'd love to see them. You can find me on Instagram as Dr_Christy, and I'll put that right here, and I'll put it in the description below as well. And with that being said, please take care of yourselves, and I hope you all have a good one.